Have you ever felt lost on your English learning journey? You're not alone. It can feel like being in a vast ocean, not knowing which direction to swim. Should you focus on grammar first, dive headfirst into vocabulary, or maybe just start speaking, even if you make mistakes? It's a common struggle, and the truth is, trying to do everything at once can leave you feeling overwhelmed and ready to give up. But what if I told you there's a clear, step-by-step path that can take you from a complete beginner to a confident, fluent English speaker? A journey that's less like being lost at sea and more like building a magnificent house, one solid brick at a time. Think about it like this. You can't live in a house until you've built the foundation. You can't decorate the walls before they even exist. Learning English works in exactly the same way. You need a strong base to build upon. So what's the foundation of English? It's not about memorizing thousands of words right away. In fact, research shows that with just 500 to 1,000 of the most common words, you can understand a huge amount of everyday English. This initial stage is all about survival. It's about learning the absolute basics, simple words and expressions that you can use in daily life. Imagine you're traveling to an English-speaking country. You step off the plane, go to a cafe, and want to order a drink. You don't need long, complicated sentences. Something as simple as, "I want water," or "coffee, please," is all you need. Or maybe you're walking down the street and get lost. "Where is the bus?" or "Where is the station?" are simple, direct questions that are easy to understand. These are your foundational bricks. Words like eat, go, and phrases like "how much," "I don't understand," and "can you help me" are your essential tools. At this stage, don't worry about perfect grammar. Don't stress about whether to use the present perfect or past simple. That will come later. For now, focus on learning these crucial words and the simplest grammar patterns. Something magical happens when you do this. Once you can use these simple words in real-life situations, your brain starts to feel more comfortable with English. Suddenly, it's not just a mountain that's too high to climb. It becomes something you can actually use, something alive. As you master these basics, you might find it helpful to watch videos like "Learn English in 30 Days" to reinforce what you're learning.
Now, how do you build this foundation? The answer is simple: repetition. Repetition is your best friend. Listen to the same simple dialogues again and again. Repeat them slowly with care. Say them out loud until they feel natural on your tongue. Try a technique called shadowing. This means listening to a sentence and speaking it at the same time, almost like an echo. It might feel strange at first, but it's incredibly powerful. Because with every repetition, your mouth and brain work together. And remember, mistakes are not your enemy here. Mistakes are proof that you are learning, that you are building. So, if you are at the beginning of your English journey, focus on this stage. Build your foundation, strong and steady. Once you have that solid base, it's time to build the structure, the walls that rise above the foundation and begin to give the house its shape. This is where you need more words and more grammar. You need to start creating sentences that are longer, richer, and more flexible. At this stage, you might know how to say, "I go to the market," which is great, but life doesn't only happen in the present, right? Sometimes you need to talk about yesterday, tomorrow, or things that are happening right now. So instead of just saying, "I go to the market now," you can say, "I went to the market yesterday," "I will go to the market tomorrow," or "I'm going to the market now." Do you see how your world is expanding? Suddenly, you're not trapped in one moment. You can travel in time. You can express the past, present, and future. That is the power of building the structure. This is also the stage where balance becomes very important. You need a balance between input and output. Input means listening and reading. It's like the food you give your brain. Without food, you cannot grow. But if you only eat and never move, your body will not be healthy. In the same way, if you only listen and read, you may understand a lot, but you won't be able to speak easily. So, output, which means speaking and writing, is just as crucial. That's when you use the energy from the food. So at this level, you must do both. You must feed your brain and train your brain. You can listen to podcasts like this one every day. You can read short stories, news articles, or even dialogues in textbooks. Then immediately try to use what you heard or read. Write 3 or 4 sentences about your day. Call a friend and tell them one thing you learned.
As you build this structure, your vocabulary will continue to grow, often to 8,000 words or more. But here's the difference. You no longer memorize words for a test. You are learning words naturally through reading novels, listening to podcasts, or having real conversations. These words stay with you because they are connected to experiences. And what about grammar? At this stage, grammar is no longer something you stop to think about. You don't pause and ask yourself, should I say I have been or I went? The right choice just comes. It feels automatic, almost instinctive. It's the same as walking. You don't think about how to move your legs, you just walk. This is when you realize that English is not something outside of you anymore, it is inside you. It has become part of who you are. A great way to practice this is by following along with videos titled Full English Grammar Course. Now, we come to the final stage, decorating the house. This is when you begin to sound natural and fluent. The structure of your language is already there. You can communicate, you can survive, you can even explain yourself in detail. But now you want to sound smooth, alive in English. This is when you begin to work on your pronunciation. You start paying attention not only to what you say, but how you say it. You learn the rhythm of English sentences, the music of intonation, the way native speakers connect words together. Instead of saying every word slowly and separately, you learn to flow. What do you want to do becomes what do you want to do? These small changes are the decorations. They make your speech sound natural and fluent, not robotic. So that is the journey from beginner to fluent. First, you build the foundation with basic words and grammar. Then you build a structure with more vocabulary and balanced practice. Then you expand the rooms with real-life situations. Next, you decorate with natural pronunciation, idioms, and advanced grammar. And finally, you live in the house. You live in English with fluency.
Conclusion and call to action. The most important thing is not to rush. Do not try to skip levels. Walk step by step, and every step will prepare you for the next one. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found this episode useful, make sure you subscribe to English Glow, share it with a friend, and listen again tomorrow. Remember, learn slowly, learn daily, and fluency will come. I'm Tom, and this is English Unleashed. Bye for now.